Hi, my name is Darren Bible, and I'm with the Disciple Trips Ministry here at SIBI. And today I get to kick off the next series of summer devotionals for the Sunset International Bible Institute. This series is designed to help us get to know God better as we look at the different names of God. And the name that I have the opportunity to look at today is the name Jehovah Jireh. The Lord will provide. The first time we're introduced to this characteristic of God is with Abraham in Genesis chapter 22. In that chapter, God tells Abraham that he is to go and offer his son as a sacrifice, his son Isaac, the son of promise. And he's to offer this sacrifice in a place where God will show them in the land of Moriah. And you think, what a challenging request. Because God has promised Abraham that through this son, through Isaac, that his descendants are going to be as numerous as the stars. And what we don't see from Abraham is any hesitation to this request. In fact, in chapter 22 and verse 3, it says, "So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him and his son Isaac. And he cut the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him." Abraham doesn't argue with God. Instead, he did exactly what God asked him to do, even though he may have had doubts. And the journey is going to take 3 days to get to the place where this sacrifice is to take place. And those 3 days gives Abraham plenty of time to reconsider, plenty of opportunities to rationalize how he can somewhat do what God asked him to do and then keep his son alive at the same respect. But that isn't what we find Abraham doing. Instead, we see Abraham continuing without wavering. He wasn't sure how God was going to do all this, but he trusted him to provide. As he and Isaac get to the place where the sacrifice is to take place, Isaac asks, "Where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" And Abraham replies, "God will provide the lamb." As Abraham continues trusting God, he binds Isaac, puts him on the altar, and takes the knife in which he's going to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. And you might be wondering, what do you think Abraham is thinking? He's ready to do this, and yet how is Isaac going to be the one by which all these descendants come? Hebrews 11:19 kind of tells us a little bit about what Abraham was thinking here. In Hebrews 11:19, it says, he being Abraham, considered that God was able to even raise him, Isaac, from the dead. So Abraham, not sure how this is all going to work out, but he knows that God, if he needs to, can even raise Isaac back from the dead. As you know, Abraham is stopped before going through with the sacrifice. And God provides a substitute. He provides a ram that's caught in the thicket, and he tells him to offer that as a substitute. And that is where Abraham calls this place, "The Lord will provide," because he provided the sacrifice. He provided the substitute. But here's the point. If Abraham had only put in half of his heart, a half-hearted effort, if he'd only went part way through with this in his obedience, he would have never experienced the Lord who provides. He would have never experienced Jehovah Jireh. Instead, Abraham was all in. He didn't hold anything back. Instead, he let go of what was even most important to him, his son, because he trusted God to provide. You know, I've never been skydiving, but I do know this one thing about skydiving for certain. You can't jump a little bit out of a plane. It's all or nothing. But once you do jump out of that plane, you're putting all your trust into one thing, the parachute. By your actions, you're pushing away all the doubts and trusting that parachute to provide what you need. Abraham put all his trust in God. He didn't hold anything back. Nothing was half-hearted or a half effort. He put it all on the altar, literally. He trusted God completely. And God showed him he is the Lord who provides. But we also learn that God himself has held nothing back on an even larger scale. Just like the ram that was caught in the thicket, God sent his own son to be our substitute, to die for our sins. And why would he do that? Because he's the Lord who provides. In these times right now of doubt and uncertainty, we may not know how God is going to work everything out, just like Abraham wasn't sure how God was going to work everything out. But when we step out in faith like Abraham did, not holding anything back, not putting anything above our relationship with God, then we too can experience the power of the Lord who will provide. Jehovah Jireh. I pray God bless you in your day.